Hello everybody, EastSussexBiker here, and I'm out in the middle of East Sussex, about 10 miles from Tunbridge Wells, which I know is Kent, but we're on the Kent and Sussex border. And today I decided that I'd come out and show you all the new bike. Yes, the new bike. So this may surprise you as to the choice. So if I haven't gone German and I haven't gone Japanese, what have I done? Okay, so let's get into it and see. Do you think I'm giving too much away? Any clues? What about here? Does this make it any better? There is a small clue here. You may not be able to spot it. There's a clue. There's another clue. It's clue of all. Now, for those of you who've guessed it, well done. But for those of you who haven't, did you guess it? This is the Benelli TRK 702X. So what made me buy this? Well, I wanted something different, and I've not had a new bike, and I just had a budget. I struggled to get a demo ride on one, to be honest with you, so I kind of bought it blind. But then I did that with the BMW because I bought it from so far away. So anyway, 702, I think this is 70 horsepower, water-cooled twin. Basically, it's a copy of the Kawasaki engine, the 650 engine or 600. But yes, it's a Benelli. So, how does this come? Well, this doesn't come with these bars, yet the 502X does. And it doesn't come with these bars, yet the 502X does. It doesn't come with this, but the 52X does. So, I've spent £7,099 on the road, and then had to spend some more money. But at the end of the day, I didn't want the 500, the 502, because people had been saying that it was a bit underpowered. So I just decided I'd go a bit bigger, just to eliminate that worry of it being underpowered. Right, I've got a little vibration on this at 4,000, which is somewhere down there, and I don't know what it is. So anyway, we're on helmet cam now, so you get a full dynamic view of what's going on. So for those of you who've just joined me, this is the Benelli TRK 702X, which means it goes anywhere. So I've had this since Wednesday, so it's now Tuesday. And I've done 165 miles on it. I need to do roughly 600, I believe, to my first service. And you can see how annoying that vibration is. Now it is quite high, for me anyway. I'm 5'6", but I can flat floor it with one arse cheek off the saddle when I come to a stop, which is fine, so it's manageable. If you're any smaller than 5'6", you could struggle. Now you can get a lowering kit for these, but I'm not sure I'd go with that. I have thought about it. You can hear that vibration just as I hit 4,000. But at least that means I'm consistent with my running in regime. So as you can see, the TFT display I think it's a 5-inch, whereas the CF, or no, the Vosges has got a 7-inch. Oh well, not a lot you can do about that. So what does it ride like? What are my first impressions? Although I've done 160 odd miles, what are my impressions of this bike? Bearing in mind I didn't road test it before I bought it, so it was a little bit of a gamble, I guess. But having said that, I don't think you can buy a bad bike nowadays. But it all depends on what your expectations are. The rear suspension seems quite harsh, but I think obviously that's the damping is adjustable, and I haven't played with anything yet. I've just sort of linked my phone up to it, and that's about it. You can get a Benelli app, which I have, but I haven't done anything with it as such, with regards to connecting it to the TFT. Bars are quite high, quite wide, but you know, I don't have a problem with that. It's very nice, feel in control. The seat is nice and firm. I like a firm seat. When I go to France I might not, by the time I get there, but actually I find it quite comfortable. There isn't a lower seat for the 702X, unfortunately. Otherwise I would have definitely got one. There's every possibility there may be one that may be available later. I feel comfortable on it. My legs are almost at 90 degrees, maybe just a little bit back. But being short in the leg, because I'm 29-inch, I kid myself, I'm 30 and 6 foot. And once you're on it, it's very, very easy to ride. It's lovely to ride, very smooth. You've got to keep it buzzing. It does like to rev, only not at the moment. And I'm quite happy to poodle around on it. And that was the other reason I didn't want to get anything racy. I'm not interested in going mad miles an hour. I've got the BMW for that, but even I don't do that on it. It was on my bucket list to get a new bike, and I just wanted a new bike, something that no one else had been mucking about with, and this is what I chose. And I chose this colour because it's the fastest. I wasn't going to go this way, but I will. It's just easier than going the other way. Yeah, so the bars I bought from Heed, which are Polish, and they came out at around about $350, including, that's round numbers, including the postage and packing and also the tax. So before you could have them delivered, you had to pay the tax, which was £62. Import tax, really? Be wank tax next. Wind is fine. It goes over my goes over my head, so no real buffeting as such. But then again, the most I've ridden this is 60 in thick, and that's just about 4.5, something like that. So I have kind of just gone over that 4.5, but I waited till I'd done about 100 odd miles or so. Time to go, Joe. Mirrors are very good, they don't vibrate, only that bit does. And it's very easy to work your way through the gearbox, and at the moment obviously you end up sort of pretty much going through the gearbox very quickly, especially in the running in period. Very manoeuvrable. It's a nice height as well, gives you a lot of vision, but then when you're used to something that's down here and you know you're kind of bending your neck to the point where you should be doing yoga, I think it's such a difference. This is almost the position I was in when I had my BMW, my ex-police bike. the R1200 RTP. But as people say, or have a habit of saying now with all these reviews, and this is not a review, this is just me being out and now being able to show you the bike. It's a very nice place to be. The exhaust is nice and burbly, and obviously on overrun it pops back madly, which is quite nice to hear. The paint is called forest green with fluoro, and it's like a satin finish, so it doesn't shine, it's not glossy. Now I can't remember the weight of this, if I'm honest. I think the seat height is, I think it's 840, I could be wrong. But like I say, this isn't a full stat review. See, I haven't done my homework because I wasn't going to do this. I just wanted to do a reveal and say, look, this is what you can get for £7,099 on the road. And I bought this from the East Sussex dealer, JW Groombridge. So if you're interested and you are in East Sussex or around the south area, Groombridges is the place to go. Ask to speak to Aid. It'll probably be Aid that you're asking. What can I say? I've been threatening to buy something for some time, and I suddenly decided, right, I'm going to do it. I keep going in there and tyre kicking and so on and so forth, so let's go and do it. And so I did it. Thinking about this, 7,000 quid, yes, still a lot of money, no doubt. But if you buy a BMW, which is 24 grand, something like that, wow. I hate to think what you're going to lose on that over time, but you're definitely going to lose more than I probably will, but it's probably on the same percentage when you think about it, relative to value. And the quality on this is very good, I must say. Now the elephant in the room is obviously this Chinese thing. Now, you may or may not know, the Chinese bikes are not what they used to be. And the reason for why that is because the Chinese make Kawasaki engines, Volvo engines, they have a link with I think BMW and many other engine builders or manufacturers. So at the end of the day, although Chinese are doing the engineering, they are also producing stuff for the big makes, the niche marks. Don't kid yourself that the Chinese stuff is rubbish, because it isn't. And this is an example of what they turn out. And you know, I wouldn't have spent my money on this if I didn't think that this was a quality product. And although I like to window shop, so on and so forth, I would not put my money into something that I didn't believe in. It's a lovely bike for the money, and whilst I didn't get my fair share of freebies like on the 502, it's still a nice bike. And I guess at the end of the day you have to make a compromise somewhere when you're building a bike to a budget, and that's what they've done. No bars, no rear splash guard, so there. I'd quite like to make it a little bit softer at the back, but I'm not really au fait with all this damp so on. And if you want to adjust the rear spring, you've got to take the chain guard off, which goes over the spring to protect it from the water and everything, unless you're knee high in it, of course. I'm not sure what the tyres are like in the wet, because I haven't really taken it out in the wet. What a lovely day. It's quite nice to go through the lanes, and there's many of them in East Sussex. I'm not sure about running modern engines in, really. You can ride through that vibration. It's a good, as I say, it's a good benchmark for changing gear. I'm happy with it at the moment. The Italians designed this, and then obviously it goes to the Chinese people to build it. But apparently the criteria was, we want you to build a GS style bike. And here we are. GS style bike. Lovely light clutch on this. I call it a slipper clutch. I think it's just very much more flexible in how you use it, so you know, it's more progressive. But it's good in town, good through the lanes. Too early to tell for anything sort of other than that. You know, motorway stuff is not really happening at the moment. And off-road, of course, no intention of doing that right now. But one of the main things that I decided to buy something like this was because I'm fed up with the roads being as bad as they are. I've bent a rim on the BMW, and I put the BMW up for sale. Somebody came round to it and they went, "You got a bent rim?" And I honestly didn't know that. Yeah, no I didn't. So that pissed me off even more, because it now means I've got to get that straightened. I didn't notice it. It wasn't that bad, but that's going to cost me 100 quid to get that straightened. I don't particularly want. I have reshaped an alloy wheel before now, but it was a spare one that got absolutely mullered because of potholes and the gaps in the road. And I left it out in the hot sun like today, and I literally just got a block of wood and tapped it back into shape. It wasn't 100%, I ended up throwing the wheel away, to be honest with you. I wondered if I could actually tap it back whilst the tyre is on it, because then it would support it. So I wanted to do another 20 miles. Well, 30 actually, because I've done 10. Seems like I've been everywhere just to do 10. My visor is very dirty. Back brake is getting better now. The gear change is really slick. So there's a lot to like about this bike and what it has to offer. Benelli might not be everybody's first choice. And there's CF Moto, there's Vorge, and I did look at KTM. But I didn't really like, I couldn't afford a new KTM, so that was that. I'd have had to have bought a newish second-hand one, and the idea was not to buy second-hand. As many other people have said, it may make the big boys open their eyes and think, there are people that would have had our stuff but are now going elsewhere. What are we going to do about it? That's like having two pubs and you putting your prices up, and they go, we'll go next door, shall we? Seems to have gone through petrol quite quickly. But then saying that, I've done 185 miles now on 20 litres, because I think I was making it work and using higher gears. I don't think it really but now that I'm staying in the gears a bit more, trying to give it a bit of a mix, I seem to be getting a little bit more use out of the petrol. But I don't have, as far as I'm aware, I don't think I have any fuel calculation or anything like that on this. But I haven't read the the book yet, so I'm not absolutely sure. Very nice gear change. Even going down into 1, you don't get a clunk or anything like that. And see, you can see the switches are all lit up. If I look at that one, you might be able to see it. Definitely that one. You should be able to see them now. A nice blue colour. Yeah, I think the rear could do with a little bit less bands. Anyway, so here we are back in Rotherfield, where I live, deep in the heart of East Sussex, and wishing you all a very happy day. And yeah, welcome to Nelly the Bernelli. Bye.